family's history with vampires, both friends and foes. While many in the family hunted these and other creatures, it was Harold Jr. who most excelled in this particular area. In his hunting and study, he was aided by the only vampire to hunt her own kind. He wrote of a specific vampire subspecies called haunters, who functioned like tortuous ghosts and could be created from people long since past. Specifically one attached to our family, named Horst Lindström, who bore the features of an elder vampire that seemed to have inspired the film Nosferatu. Harold Sr., who primarily dealt with primeval vampires, wrote of Horst's sire, the darkest of all entities, Dmitri Vadeska, a crusader occultist, who made himself into a vampiric god. He was finally put down in a dramatic siege by the Sons of Man, led by their secret undead super weapon he helped create. But time and hell only made him worse. Centuries later, he would explode from the abyss as a monstrous demonic horror. The paladin pair of Theobald and Reinhold Oldrey narrowly defeated him, sending him and Lindström to the abyss. But Vadeska would return again, this time to face Harold Oldrey, Reinhold's son, who wrote that when he did return, Vadeska also brought Lindström with him. Now a hunter cursed onto the Uldri line, trying to aid his sire somehow, likely after this artifact.
Facts about real-world vampires. First and foremost, they absolutely do drink human blood, and they cannot subvert this with animal blood, the only known means being magical in nature. Another fact is that there are multiple subspecies of vampires, some drastically different from others. Some so much so they may even be considered another type of creature. The majority of vampires have no trouble going out in daylight, though they vastly prefer the night. However, those referred to as elders, the rare few that undergo such a transformation, cannot. Similarly, most types of vampires would have no trouble entering your home without permission, and those that do bear this weakness often have means around it. The only known universal aversion, not even really strong enough to call a weakness, is a strong distaste for silver. They will avoid its touch, and weapons cast in this metal seem to have a stronger effect against them. It is also the genesis of the myth that they cast no reflection. This is only true in silver-backed mirrors. The majority of them, however, do also bear weakness to what I call true faith, and this is not specific to Christianity or even Abrahamic religions. It includes people's own personal faith as well as true prayer objects, items that have been used for real prayer for multiple years. This most dramatically affects those referred to as elders. The more social varieties seem to bear a glamour effect that causes people to see them as similar to others they already find attractive and powerful. In the modern age, they would likely seem reminiscent of a celebrity to you. And finally, they themselves come from a previous type of creature or curse. Massive, monstrous, bat-like creatures that predate human civilizations. Vampires. Where do they come from? Why do they become more monstrous with age? The answer lies in those few who turned themselves in a much older version of the curse. Primevals. That's what those in the know call them. Those like my ancestors in the Sons of Man order. Primevals were much larger, bat-like creatures that stalked mountain peaks. The last known living specimen was held in the dungeon St. George's Keep, where it was photographed in the late 1800s. While the world seemed purged of their kind, their features can manifest in modern vampires, as seen here, where an otherwise normal specimen morphed into this monstrosity, harkening back to the more ancient creature. These monstrous beasts are reported in the mythology and folklore of many cultures around the world. Seeming to predate human civilization, it's believed they were once ogres, primordial man-like beasts, because those humans turned by the primevals became a smaller, less monstrous equivalent, whereas the original primevals were much larger, more ape-like brutes, similar to how the ogre compares to modern man. The leading theory of my family's greatest vampire expert, and backed by the only known benevolent vampire, is that these ancient monsters are the result of ogre tribes cursed by devils, pagan gods, or something in between. Because of the ogre's close relationship to humans, this curse could be spread to us. It's believed that eventually human cultists Sorcerers, warlocks, whatever you call them, manipulated this curse for immortality and power. Much like known later examples of people becoming vampires by their own hand, these cultists are responsible for creating what we call vampires. And the reason elders take on primeval features. Vampires that reach a certain age will sometimes undergo a metamorphosis into a stranger, deeper version of the creatures, referred to by most as elders, likely becoming closer to the primeval origins of the curse. I believe that Albin Grau designed the character Count Orlok after witnessing an elder himself. Through this depiction, more accurate portrayals of the most powerful elder vampires have bled into numerous films and television shows. The descriptions of elders in the journals of my ancestor Harold Oldrey Jr. paint them as dramatic exaggerations of their younger counterparts. While they display incredible supernatural abilities and need to feed less frequently, they are also the source of most popularly believed vampire weaknesses, including a much stronger aversion to true faith objects, prayer, and occult tools. They have no tolerance for sunlight, being utterly destroyed by it. They make up for all this, however, in their seeming inability to permanently die. Through unknown means, they return to the world again and again, more monstrous with each passing. It is written that fallen vampires made into haunters by their masters will take on elder features as well, much like the one seen in my home. Elders were also surrounded by paranormal activity. The most terrifying vampires. See here the photo of one, once held in St. George's Keep. Albin Grau was the art director of the 1922 film Nosferatu, and it's all but certain that he had once encountered a real vampire. Grau, also a producer on the film, was the man responsible for the many costumes and designs of the movie, including the now famous visage of the vampire Count Orlok, as seen here in his many promotional artworks created for the film, and his final on-screen appearance as portrayed by actor Max Schreck. Official records of Grau's creation of this monstrous appearance have seemingly been lost to time, but looking at this famously haunting appearance with the pointed ears, bald head, beady eyes, long clawed fingers, lines up almost perfectly with the descriptions in the many writings of the Uldri family, who had a long history combating many types of vampires. Specifically, Orlok seems modeled on a vampire elder, as shown here photographed in St. George's Keep, which you can read more about in the Uldri family bestiary. The film is also popularly believed to be the origin of the idea that vampires can be killed by sunlight, a characteristic specific to elders not found in other types of vampires. A similar idea was put forth in the 2000 film Shadow of the Vampire, wherein actor Max Schreck was portrayed as being a real vampire, encountered by the film's director F.W. Murnau during his travels. Through this early, starkly accurate adaptation, the visage of the elder vampire has passed through modern culture, relatively unchanged for over 100 years, as seen in numerous other films, television shows, video games, and much more. But make no mistake, these horrors are very real, certainly still existing somewhere out there in the world, some continuing past death in ghostly forms.
I've revealed much about vampires. Alexandra, the hunter, Dmitri Vadeska, the unmaker, Horst Lindström, Regals, elders, and the primevals. The many Oldrey writings disclose much about these creatures. Only human blood sustains them, directly from the vein, or very recently drawn. Without it, they become wild feral beasts. Alexandra managed to escape this fate through a unique magical flower that literally bled human blood. Most vampires are haunted by their mortal pasts, their spirits being incapable of moving on. Losses from their mortal life hold powerful sway over them. Alexandra's lifelong conditioning made her soul cling to the hunt of what became her own kind. The execution of these monsters was something my ancestors were also versed in, primarily mentioning stakes, but also the magical power of legitimate prayer tools from many different religions, so long as they're wielded by those with true faith in their power. The Oldreys also wrote the signs of the vampire, such as mysterious patches of dead plant life, animals acting over-aggressively or outside their customary natures, mysterious illnesses in people, sudden hallucinations, and the sensation of being hunted. My ancestors were not alone with this knowledge. Elders have long been presented in major films and television, and the ancient, monstrous primevals are chronicled in many myths from all around the world.
Ever since capturing him on video in my home, the vampire Horst Lindstrom has haunted my every thought, just as he's haunted my bloodline for over 150 years. My ancestors were deeply embroidered in the world of vampires, well-versed in hunting them, and brimming with information about the creatures. They wrote of elders, rare vampires that metamorphosize into darker creatures, which I believe inspired Albin Grau's designs for the movie Nosferatu. The family's greatest vampire expert, Harold Oldrey Jr., left ever more extensive writings on the undead, including information of an ethereal elder subspecies called haunters, vampire spirits attached to individuals or groups. With the help of his vampire ally Alexandra, who aids us to this day, Harold Jr. learned this haunter's identity. Horst Lindstrom, a repulsive Prussian elder from the late 15th century, sired by the Unmaker himself, Dmitri Vadeska.
Harold Oldrey Jr. would later write of an anomalous vampire subspecies called haunters, a new form created via dark sorcery, much as ancient warlocks created vampirism through manipulating the primevals. Haunters could be created long after death, and were attached to people or groups to continuously torment them, like a curse. When the Unmaker returned again, akin to a demonic god, he restored Lindstrom, twice sired, now an elder haunter, attached to my family either for our personal connection, the generations of work as hunters, or the dark magical items we still guard.